What's up, everybody? Unpwned here, bringing you a new video. I haven't done one of these in a while. At least not a commentating video. I've uploaded some gameplays, but today I am going to walk you through what Breach is. And Breach is a game that I've gotten into in the last month and a half-ish, playing some alpha gameplays. And it's going to be coming out for early access towards the end of January. Now, I'm pretty sure this game I think it's going to be a top contender for a lot of things and a lot of reasons. So first off, we're going to go into just the basics. What is Breach? The developers describe it as a action RPG. It's got a mix of PvE and PvP elements. Based on my experience of playing it, it's very similar to it's a more fast-paced version of Dead by Daylight. So if you've ever played Dead by Daylight, you have 4 survivors and you have 1 killer. In Breach, you have 4 heroes and you have 1 Veiled Demon. The Veiled Demon is trying to stop the heroes from completing the mission. Dead by Daylight, the killer's trying to stop the survivors from escaping. Pretty similar. Except in Breach, it's more of I don't want to say a dungeon crawler, but it's very similar as you're going through stages, you're progressing through a map. So each section of the map, there will be a objective, and the objective is fought over between the 4 heroes and the Veiled Demon. So whoever wins the objective gets a bonus to their XP. Now, the best way to compare this aspect would be if you've ever played, say, Heroes of the Storm. When they came out with maps where there were objectives of Heroes of the Storm, and whatever team won the objective would get a bonus of some sort. Well, in Breach, whoever wins the objective gets the bonus of XP. So, XP, you level up in the match. Whenever you level up, you are given a choice of 3 different perks to go with that level. So kind of like Heroes of the Storm, you have your character, and when you level up the character, you get to choose from like 4 abilities or 4 passives, something of that sort. Now, all of these are completely customizable. For the heroes and the Veiled Demon, you get to choose what your list of 4 perks to choose from are in the character creation. So it's more free and customizable than the other games. You actually get to swap a lot of things in and out. We'll go into more detail on that. So basically, you fight over the objectives. Winner gets more XP. When you get more XP and you level up, that gives you additional perks, which means you're going to have a advantage in the following area. Now you're going to go through about 4 areas and then a boss room. So there's usually about 5 areas, I believe. We've only been able to test 3 maps so far. And if you've played the alpha for whatever reason, like 90% of the time you get Egypt. So the other 2 maps I don't have memorized all that well. But you're going to progress through these stages, and then you get to the boss room. In the boss room, there is going to be a big elite mob that has to die. If he dies, the heroes win. If all the heroes die, the Veiled Demon wins. During this time, regular mobs are also going to spawn, and the Veiled Demon is going to be able to do their thing with their abilities, whatever type of build they have. And that is basically the gist of the game. So it's kind of like a fusion of Dead by Daylight and Heroes of the Storm, to be honest. It's like a fusion of the two. And then the gameplay is very similar to any type of action RPG that you play. It most reminded me of when I first played WildStar back in the day. Cleaner, more up to date, everything like that. Kind of like Terra. Any type of an RPG like that you've played, it's very similar to that in the gameplay style. It's fast paced. You have to aim your abilities. There's no tab targeting. It's cone effects, circles on the ground, projectiles, things of that sort. So it's a culmination of several different genres. It's really interesting, and I've been thoroughly enjoying it. So on to the next. Okay, so the first thing we're going to go into detail on is the Heroes of Breach. There are currently 18 classes, and those 18 classes are broken down into 6 schools of magic. You have the Arcane, Battle, Dark, Hedge, Shadow, and Tech. Now, the reason for these different schools of magic is all of the classes that are a part of that, say, Arcane School of Magic, as you level up that class, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10, you unlock each of their abilities and the ability to swap out that ability slot. So, say you have a Arcane Mender, which is the healing type class, and then you have a Chronomancer, which is more of a CC type class. If you have your Arcane Mender to level 4, that means your first 2 abilities are unlocked and can be swapped with the first 2 abilities of, if you have the Chronomancer also at level 4, the first 2 abilities of Chronomancer. Those can be interchanged. At level 6, you have 3 available, 8, 4 available, and 10, you get the very last one available. So all of the classes within each school of magic, all of their abilities can be interchanged, which allows for an insane amount of customizing capabilities. You can have a healer with some CC. You can make your healer also do damage. You can go pure healer. It's going to be quite big. They're also saying that they plan on having a couple dozen heroes at launch. And I believe launch is going to probably partake somewhere around March. The early access in January. Who knows what we're going to get to see during the early access compared to what we've seen now in the alphas. But, so with the heroes, you have the different schools of magic and being able to swap abilities. There's a lot of these classes. Okay, so let's go over the classes individually. This video is probably going to be a lot longer than I want it to be, but I want to try and go as in-depth as possible for anyone wanting to know what this game is or hasn't had a chance to play it yet. I know it hasn't really gotten super popular yet, which I think is going to happen, because this game is really fun, to be honest. So, let's go over each of the individual classes. First, you have Arcane Mender. The Arcane Mender is one of the healing classes. Next, you have an Aros Gladiator, which is kind of like a tanky melee character. I guess just more melee. I mean, you can make them tanky. Okay. You have the Bloodstalker, which is kind of like the rogue tank character. But it's currently in alpha. I know I haven't played it yet, but I know a few people stated that it wasn't that tanky and it was kind of useless to use as a tank. But they had abilities that were worth unlocking to use with the other shadow classes. Next, you have Chronomancer. Chronomancer is a CC character, manipulates time, slows things down, speeds things up. Demon Hunter class is a damage class, but it also comes with some really good CC. So, to me, it was actually kind of a toss-up, them labeling it as a damage, because it has really good CC against the NPCs that you're going to be going up against. It has an AoE CC, and it has a very long single target CC that can actually lock down the elites. So, they're pretty good. And they debuff people. So I would actually put them as more of a specialist than a damage dealer, unless you build them that way. Next is the Elementalist. They are an AoE damage dealer. The Engineer is, well, an engineer. They got turrets they throw up that'll shoot, stuff like that. You know, as we all know. The Exorcist is still listed as coming soon, but it's in the same category as the Demon Hunter and the Occultist, so I can only assume they're going to have some sort of CC abilities as well, something to really focus on debuffing and locking down the demons. We have the Gunslinger class. That one's pretty self-explanatory. You got 2 guns, pew pew, QQ. You got the Lich. It's a generic Lich. It's got life leeching capabilities. Mana Warrior. Now, the Mana Warrior is the main one that I saw in the alphas as the tank. They run in, they do AoE, they heal. They're very tanky and very good. Necromancer, another summoning class. Nighthawk was a Devil May Cry-like class. So if you liked playing Devil May Cry, the Nighthawk is just like that. You actually get to throw people up in the air, and you can like spin the blade and be like, and you hold them up in the air and CC them. You can even do the elites, the big ones that if they're going after your healer or something, and your healers are really squishy, by the way, normally. The Nighthawk is really good at keeping them in the air while doing damage to them constantly. Next, you have the Occultist. The Occultist is a AoE. They're listed as a healer, but they only have one healing ability. But it's one of the best healing abilities currently, in my opinion, in the game. It has a pretty fast recharge rate. You can have up to 4 charges of your ult. And basically, you throw a potion down on the ground, and it does an AoE heal, instantly healing everyone for a set amount, unless you buff it. You have the Reaper, which is also a tank. They have an ability where they can actually place a destructible object that makes them immune to damage as long as that object is up. But if the object gets attacked, they can die. So if they hide it and the Veiled Demon doesn't really know where it's at, they can get away with doing some pretty serious damage and tanking for a while without having to worry about taking actual damage. Shadowblade. Shadowblade is basically the assassin class. They do high single target damage. They have a stealth. They do more damage with one of their abilities when the target's below half health. They have an ability that lets them teleport a pretty good distance, and if the target dies within a set period of time, they get the recharge back on that teleport. Which it wasn't listed in the actual ability, but I discovered it while playing. You have the Sniper, which is another variant of the Gunslinger. And you have the Vanguard, which is... I didn't actually get to play that one. I didn't get to purchase it, and I'm not really sure when people played it. But it's also a healer, but I'm not really sure what their healing abilities are like. So I can't tell you too much on that one. Sorry. But those are the 18 classes currently. And if they're planning on having a couple dozen by the time the game comes out, then we're at least looking at 6 more classes coming out before March, which is going to give us a good pool of heroes to play from. So when this game comes out, it's going to be a free-to-play model. It's going to be similar to Heroes of the Storm or League of Legends in terms of they're going to rotate what heroes will be freely playable every week, and it will rotate. You basically are going to save in-game currency to be able to buy the champions you'd like to play. Same with the Veiled Demons. I'm sure there'll be 1, maybe 2 Veiled Demons free every week, depending on how many Veiled Demons they release. Right now, I see it as only being 1, which is what they're doing in the alpha. They've been rotating just 1 being able to be free. I've almost purchased all of them. The only one I haven't purchased is Soul Fiend, which I'll try and do that in the next alpha. I'm wanting to try and test every class, but a lot harder than it seemed to unlock all of them. Okay, next up, we're going to go over the Veiled Demons. There are 6 of them currently available. You have the Chaos Weaver, which is... how do I explain the Chaos Weaver? They have a stun ability. They do high amounts of damage. Most of their abilities are instant cast, so as soon as you use it, it drops it. So they're chaotic. I mean, that makes sense. They're chaotic. They're constantly dropping things, instantly spawning things in. They do high damage if they hit you. So, solid class. Next, you have the Dark Artificer. The Dark Artificer, if you don't know what's going on, if you are brand new to the game, this Veiled Demon will annihilate you pretty bad. So, the Dark Artificer is listed as the CC Veiled Demon. They drop, okay, they have an ability where they drop like a floating rock, and it locks onto one person, and it will do continuous damage over time to them as long as they're within line of sight, and has a very long range on it. They have another ability where they drop a blue orb, and it will shoot at somebody, and it debuffs them with a slow in all ways, not just movement speed, but all speed. Your dodges, your reloads. Drinking the potion takes way longer. So if that orb is on you, your teammates have to take it out, because you're basically just going to sit there and you're open to get destroyed by any NPCs, or if the Veil Demon takes over someone and comes and starts beating you, it's not good. You have to take those orbs out very fast. So basically, the Dark Artificer class is focused on dropping things. They create additional objects that you have to destroy. They can lock people down. They slow them. It's a really fun class to play. And if people don't realize what's going on, you can set them up really high. And so if people don't know how the lay of the land is and they can't get up to it, then it can cause issues. That's why I say, if you're brand new to the game, that class is going to be a little rough on you. The Soul Fiend is completely based around the Veil Demon taking over demons and buffing them. So if you're one of those that wants to be in the hero's face with a physical demon, smacking them, doing what you can with abilities, Soul Fiend is for you. I only played it once. It was pretty cool, but it wasn't what I wanted to do at the time of the testing. Next, you have the Taskmaster. Taskmaster. I don't know why I mixed the two. The Taskmaster is centered around buffing the demons and controlling them. So you can actually, one of the abilities is to put a marker on one of the heroes, and it makes all of the NPC demons in the area only go for that person. So basically, they're a Taskmaster. I almost said it again. What is wrong with me? Next, you have the Veil Shifter. The Veil Shifter has an ability that is scary if it's combined with certain other abilities. So the Veil Shifter can trap people. It can do a lot of things. It's kind of a mix of things. It's kind of hard to describe, honestly. I'm not really sure why it's marked as a healer. But the main thing I say about the Veil Shifter is its default right-click ability. I don't know if you can tell, but say you're the hero here and you're the Veil Demon here. If you right-click, it creates a portal where the hero is at, and you go flying in the opposite direction. So, depending on where you are in the map, if they're up somewhere high and you knock them off the ledge, they can't get back to the portal. So when you do this, it puts them in it shifts them into another dimension. When they are in this dimension, you are then able to right-click them and shoot them with lightning, doing DPS. And it's a good chunk of DPS. So when you have the Veil Shifter, you're constantly looking for a way to knock somebody really far away from where the portal's going to spawn from where they were originally at. The reason I say this can be dangerous is because there are abilities in the game that create blockades, cages, and you can actually stop people from getting back to the portal. And you can just sit there and unlimited power them to death, which is really fun and will make people a little salty, especially if you're focusing them and you keep knocking them into the other realm and shocking them and making them use up their potions. It's good fun. It's really good fun. And last but not least, the World Shaper. The World Shaper is basically a bunch of traps. It's got a frost trap. It's got a lava trap. Basically, all of its abilities are placements on the ground that when someone steps over it, something happens. Damage, or who knows what else. Okay. Next part we're going to talk about is the gear and the gems. So the gear and the gems are the same for both the heroes and the Veiled Demon, so this works for both of them. So for the heroes, every school of magic has the same 4 pieces of gear, and the gems are account-wide. You can use them they're used with the heroes and with the Veiled Demons. There are some specific ones, like for the Veiled Demon, there's a couple gems that are deal bonus damage or have bonus haste while possessing a demon. So there are some specific gems. So for the gear, there are 4 pieces of gear. These are the 4 levels when you're in the game that unlock perks. So you will basically go through and pick, which piece of gear you want that's going to have different perks on it. I'll show here, trying to show some examples of here. Show some examples what the gear looks like and what some of the perks would be that you would pick from. The gems, there are 2 blue and 2 red gems. The blue gems are more defensive and utility based, and the red ones are more like offensive type things. Attack damage, spell damage. I don't know if spell damage. Just damage versus CC targets. There's a bunch of gems. There's increased health, there's increased resistances, there's lifesteal, which makes for the customization even further. So not only can you then swap out all 5 of your abilities, but you can also change all the gear to give you different perks and all of the gems that give you different buffs towards certain things. So that's basically the class builder, I would say, is the 4 pieces of gear, 4 gems, and your 5 abilities after you get your class to level 10 and unlock all of them, and then they're all interchangeable. Now, for the 5 abilities, for the Veiled Demon, you have 3 active abilities by default. You have 3 active abilities. The 4th ability is some sort of a buff normally to your elite that you can spawn. And then the last ability is some sort of unique to that one type ability. Like the Veil Shifter was where you can send them to a different realm, shoot them with lightning. The Chaos Weaver drops a shard that does a big AoE explosion and knocks people back. Well, that about sums it up. That is a basic understanding of what Breach is. If there's anything I left out or anything that anyone watching thinks could be useful information, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. If there's anything you want to know specifically, you can go ahead and ask. I'll try and give you an answer if I know it. But that should about sum it up and help catch you up if you're wanting to know if you want to pre-order the game, become a backer, or just wait for it to go free to play. Thanks for watching. Leave me a like, possibly subscribe. Thanks.